first time ever, prime time Daytona 500, first time picture tweeted during the race.
You know, Mike, back to Tommy Baldwin, you talked about Dave Blaney and he in that 36 car having to race their way in the Daytona 500, but the whole operation, what a feel-good story. You know, Tommy Baldwin elected to become an owner back in 2009 and fought and clawed, but would not give up. Missed races, even did a lot of the start and park routine. But it paid off. He got a sponsorship last year, and now he did that affiliation with Stuart Haas and the 10 car and Danica Patrick. And here he is leading the Daytona 500, knowing he's got to make another pit stop if we go back racing, but leading with 40 to go.
He began on the crew chief on his dad's NASCAR modified on the tough bull rings of Long Island.
When you hang around with good people, good things happen.
Now there's a look at the debris on the racing surface. And a NASCAR official taking a look at the asphalt, and hopefully no damage from the heat, and looks like a little scrape or two there from dragging that trailer down off the banking. Now they've got to get the jet fuel dried up and get us in condition here to race.
I pretty much, guys, I've seen it all now. I never, this is the most bizarre thing I think I've ever seen.
But Mike, you're right. That's going to be the biggest challenge is just getting that jet fuel cleaned up.
40 laps to go in the Daytona 500. A lot of speedy dry at work right there. And oh, by the way, Sunday we head out west. Ready to race in the desert.
We don't have any other track like this. How bad do you want it?
And here comes Stewart.
You got to be aware of this racetrack. Bring it on, boys. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing in the desert, boys.
That is this Sunday. NASCAR on Fox. NASCAR has altered the track opening schedule at Phoenix for the Sprint Cup cars due to this postponement of the 500 to Monday evening, but has not changed the on-track activity schedule out there in Phoenix. Well, we've seen fire and we've seen rain, not in that order. We still have 40 laps to go in the Daytona 500.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's just amazing that Juan wasn't hurt, that driver in the truck, I can't believe that he was able to get out of that thing. You saw the dent in the door, so that had to shake him up, let alone the fire.
And I don't think, again, we mentioned it, Juan Montoya was running at a high rate of speed.
Oh, yeah.
When he hit that truck.
Pace car speed 70 miles an hour, but under caution to catch up the pack, you're allowed to exceed that. So everyone was doing just what they were supposed to until Montoya's car broke at speed. We're under the red flag in the Daytona 500 on Fox.
Sunday, gear up for a showdown at the Jewel of the Desert. The Subway Fresh Fit 500, only on Fox.
Closest to the screen, that's Daytona Regional Airport, the backstretch at Daytona International Speedway, and the bright lights near the top of the screen, that's high above where we sit next to the control tower. Moving into our third day of coverage of the Daytona 500 because of this. Juan Montoya's car breaks and under caution slides up into one of the jet dryers, which goes up in a fireball. Montoya walks away. The safety truck driver is helped from his vehicle and is resting comfortably. But the fire blazed out of control for several minutes, and it has taken quite a bit of cleanup and some bonding to make sure that the asphalt surface is raceable for the last 100 miles of this 500.
When I looked at Montoya coming down that back straightaway on second look, he was going pretty fast.
Martin Truex has banked the midway payday, $200,000. 7 caution flags, 1 red flag, the one we're working right now. But there are still 29 drivers hopeful of winning this race, and another 8 or so that are multiple laps down and trying to make it to the finish.
We anticipate the top 4 drivers will be making a pit stop. Dave Blaney, Landon Castle, Tony Radins, and David Gilliland. They're going to have to come to pit road here shortly.
Kurt Busch has had a tough week. Released at the end of last season by Carl and Roger Penske for outbursts, and then he's with James Finch, but boy, he's determined to finish this race despite the troubles they've had tonight.
We've stayed out here this long. We've endured a jet dryer blowing up. We've circled around this track meaningless for 3 points. We're not getting the DNF. We're finishing.
There you go. I like that attitude.
That's a big deal, though, is to keep a goose egg in that DNF column throughout a season. Try to be running at the checkered flag.
Engines have fired on the back straightaway. Spotters back up on their perch, up on the roof, including Tommy Baldwin, who owns the lead car, driven by Dave Blaney. Let's go down to pit road. Steve Burns.
Mike with Steve Letarte, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s crew chief, and 40 laps to go. I've heard Dale say very positive things about the race car tonight. He's pretty happy. It seems like with the speed you have in the car, is it going to handle well enough for these final 40 laps?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think handling will be an issue. Diamond Mountain Dew Chevrolet's been strong all week long. You know, the Hendrick engines and everybody back there is a heck of a body, and we qualified well. We had a good run in the 150s, came up a little short, and we just hope we're around for all 40 laps to put a great show on for the fans.
Steve, I was just thinking this could be win number 200 for Rick Hendrick as well.
Yeah, no, I can't think of a more historic ending for the long week we've had down here. Just Mr. H deserves 200, and Dale deserves to get back to victory lane. This whole race team does, so we hope we can get him there today.
All right, best of luck, Steve.
Thanks.
We are now back under the yellow flag as the cars roll on the back straightaway, and you can see that the green is gone. So that means no rain for the conclusion of this event, absent a pop-up shower or something.
So Tommy Baldwin, they got the track fixed, so take that out of the equation. The rain dissipated. Take that out of the equation. I guess we might as well pit.
Go at the pit now.
The pits will be open this time by. Out of the race, David Reagan, Jimmy Johnson in that lap 2 crash. Robbie Gordon out of the event early. Jeff Gordon, blown engine. Elliott Sadler couldn't maintain minimum speed after his car was damaged. David Stremmy's car blew up, and Juan Montoya's car crashed into one of the safety trucks under caution after the car broke, and he couldn't steer it. Laps down. Clint Boyer -2. Joe Nemechek 7 laps down. Michael McDowell 13. A.J. Allmendinger, Trevor Bayne, Danica Patrick, and Kurt Busch further back, but still running.
Larry,
turn 3.
How far could Blaney go if he didn't pit right now?
Well,
another 20 laps?
No, he was on pit road at lap 130, so he could probably go about 14 to 16 laps. But Krista, I get a feeling they're going to be on pit road pretty quick here.
Larry Mack, I love your math skills. I just talked to Ryan Pemberton. He said 15 laps, 1.5 is the most they can go. They wanted Dave to go through that patch on the track to make sure it wasn't bumpy. They just radioed and said, Dave, how does it feel? He said, no, not really bumpy, so I think we're okay. They're planning to come to pit road with 1 to go before we go green.
Man, I don't know. It's $1.5 million. I got 15 laps, and that track is a little questionable. I've rolled the dice this far. I think I'm going to stay out here and see what happens.
What did Stevie tell you in 1989? We have 16 races. We know how to not win it. How about if we try a way to win it?
I'm just saying that with the uncertainty that I think everybody has in the condition of the track, and I could run a little bit further, even if it meant I had to pit under the green. And all the drivers are saying, we think it's going to get wild, it's going to get crazy. Keep that car up front, and who knows what might happen. It's worth the gamble.
Casey Kane, Ricky Stenhouse, both just pitted. Fuel only, no tires. Tick-tock, 12 o'clock. It is midnight. It is Tuesday. and we have 100 miles to go in Daytona.
After
Michael
midnight.
McDowell laps down.